Are you dealing with shoulder, neck, or upper back pain? Do you have overall fatigue or feel floppy or like you have a bobblehead on top of your spine? This could be the result of weakness in your shoulder blade muscles. I'm Dr. Jana Ott from Tolt Travel Therapy. I have my partner Thor here with me today, and we'll be talking about the shoulder blade muscles and mobility. Welcome, Thor. So tell us a little bit about your own story. What kind of symptoms were you experiencing before we started working on your shoulder blade strength together?
Yeah, thanks, Jana. I had a lot of, classic upper back pain and discomfort. My neck was stiff, my shoulders and traps were tight, and just always wanting to stretch or crack my back or get some sort of relief.
Yeah, and you were typically working at a computer for most of your 9-to-5 job, and I get to notice this since we live together, but even during your rest time, sitting on the couch or in bed, you might be in positions that ended up causing more of that neck and back pain for you too, right?
A lot of slouching.
Thor's tall as well, and I think in general our world is not really made for tall people, and they have to get a little smaller to fit into chairs and under doorways and those types of things. So again, a lot of times these problems don't come from an initial injury per se, but it's something over time or repetitive movements or positions that we've done that can end up getting people into these situations where they have weakness in their shoulder blade muscles.
Well, and I just think it's part of our modern society now where we spend so much time hunched over our desks or hunched over our phone or watching TV. Yeah. And our muscles are lazy. They don't want to do work if they don't have to. So it's just really easy for most people in modern society to fall into these poor patterns.
Absolutely. And that's a huge reason why they're weak in people. Our posture, sitting, stooping, almost everything we do in our life is here in front of ourselves, which means the chest muscles get tight and the upper back muscles get stretched and weakened. And it's just life. It's really hard to combat unless you're being purposeful and thoughtful. And I think we keep coming back to a theme that our daily posture shouldn't just be passive. We want to be activating muscles to help support us throughout the day. Let's talk a little bit about what muscles we're talking about here. Upper trap muscle is a big kite-shaped muscle that goes from the base of your skull all the way out to your shoulders and then all the way down to your lumbar spine, your low back. This is a big, strong moving muscle. It helps to shrug our shoulders, push things up, but it's not really made to stabilize our upper back and neck throughout the day. Unfortunately, when some of our other muscles get weak, this one likes to take over. Like Thor mentioned, our body wants to be very efficient, and if this is a big, strong muscle, then it's going to try to do more of the work than our small, weak muscles. So again, part of this is bringing awareness to how we're positioning and which muscles we're using throughout the day. Now, the muscles we should be using to help support and stabilize our spine and our shoulders are the rotator cuff muscles, the rhomboids, the multifidi that are along our spine, and the erector spinae. We also have the levator scapulae, which helps to raise our shoulder blade, but that one also likes to overwork because we're often here working at our desks, or a lot of people even hold stress in their shoulders, and we tend to have our shoulders closer to our ears when we're more stressed. So how can you assess for this in yourself? Well, I highly recommend taking videos or pictures of yourself from different angles or having someone help you take those photos or videos. This is something that we can't always feel if we're in the right position. So having that external feedback can be really helpful. A few things to look at. If you get a side view of your posture, you want to have your ear lined up over your shoulder, over your hips. And that's in sitting or standing. Oftentimes we end up here where our ear is in front of our shoulder, our back is behind us, our shoulders are in front of our hips. And that puts a lot more of the stress into our spine, our upper back, and our neck. Another way to do some self-assessment is looking in a mirror at where your shoulders are positioned. At rest, do you typically stand here with your shoulders closer to your ears, or are they relaxed down at your sides? We're talking a lot about our shoulder and our shoulder blades, but it's really important to acknowledge that our thoracic spine, or our upper back, is also involved in how we move our arms and shoulders. If I have a more rounded upper back and I try to lift up my arm, that's about as far as it can go. But if I extend my upper back and bring my shoulder blades together, I can bring my arm much higher. This opens the shoulder joint and allows more range of motion for the arm to move through.
I think it's common for people to experience shoulder pain.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're lifting your arm and you're experiencing pinching the upper and outside edge of your shoulder, for me in my body, it means that my shoulders are not retracted.
Great observation, and it makes sense mechanically in our shoulders. So in the arm bone, in the shoulder, you have a ball in the socket, and this brings into play our rotator cuff muscles. So in a typical shoulder joint, when you go to reach or move your arm, your shoulder will roll, but it will also slide so that it stays right in the middle of the socket. And the rotator cuff muscles are the ones that help the sliding motion so it stays in the center of the socket. If those rotator cuff muscles are weak or inhibited, what you get is this rolling motion but no sliding. And that means your shoulder bone is on the edges of the socket, or maybe even pinching some of the tissues or joints that are right above the shoulder socket. And that can often feel like pinching in your shoulder joint. Again, when we're repositioning our shoulder blades, that opens this shoulder joint, allows the rotator cuff muscles to work a little bit easier, and keeps that shoulder bone seated in the center of the socket throughout your movement. Thanks so much for joining us for our talk on the shoulder and shoulder blade muscles. Join us next time for some exercises on how to build strength. See you in the next video.